As a kid, I'd watch Saturday morning fishing shows, and every now and then I see a guy fishing on his kayak in the ocean, and I thought, I want to do that. Then in 2012, I finally got my own fishing kayak, and I've been fishing on it since. I've learned a lot through trial and error since then, and this is what I'd tell somebody if they were just looking to get started kayak fishing today. There are so many good fishing kayaks to choose from these days. But if you're shopping for one, look for the sit on top kind of kayak rather than the sit inside kind of kayak. In my experience, the sit on top kayak is the best platform for kayak fishing, spear fishing, diving, and that's because their design makes them stable, safe, and versatile. And can you get away with a sit-in kayak if that's what you have? Yes, you can, but it's not going to be ideal. And if you want to be serious about kayak fishing, then the sit on top kind of kayak is what you really want. Something like this Hobie Quest 13 is an example of a great option. These are rotomolded kayaks, so they're seamless, made out of plastic, and their construction makes them durable, impact resistant, and cost effective. And if you're on a budget, check out the used marketplace. These things are pretty tough, so it can make a lot of sense to get one used. Just look for one that hasn't been sitting out baking in the sun and something that's watertight. Or maybe you're looking for something with a little more convenience and technology, then consider a pedal-driven kayak. Something like this is going to free up your hands, which makes fishing easier, and it also lets you move around and cover more water more efficiently, since your legs are stronger than your arms. You can also see this thing has some upgraded features, like this fancier, more comfortable seat, and a rudder to help with steering. These are the kind of things that are going to make your time out on the water just more convenient, more comfortable, more efficient. Paddles. Here are some examples of what you might look for. This is a paddle with an aluminum shaft. This is fiberglass. And this one's carbon. Their differences in design and materials of construction are going to impact their performance. If you're just starting out, I think something like this fiberglass paddle is going to be a good balance between price and performance. What you end up choosing really is going to be based off of your own preference and budget, but most importantly, find a paddle that fits you. Also, you're going to want to carry a paddle even if you have a pedal drive kayak just as a backup. You may have to use it. PFDs or life jackets, you got to have one. My advice is to get the most comfortable one you can afford, so you're always going to wear it. I've tried a lot of them, and this is my favorite one. This is an NRS Chinook. The reason I like it is because of its design and its pocket arrangement. It's got a high back, so it's comfortable when you're sitting against the kayak seat. And it's got a ton of pocket space and attachment points. Attachments for your knife, pocket for your radio, and lots of space for fishing stuff. The most important thing is just to get one that's comfortable and one that fits you. Next are a couple safety items that you're going to want to have on you. First is a VHF radio. I highly recommend getting one of these, especially if you're going out into the ocean. This is going to let you communicate with others on the water, including the Coast Guard, and listen to weather reports. Another thing you want to carry is a simple safety whistle. Something like this can help save your life if you're in a bad situation and you need to flag someone's attention. Your scupper holes will drain water off the deck, but if your hull takes in water for any reason, you need a way to get it out. I keep a car wash sponge inside the hull to soak up small puddles, and a manual bilge pump to remove more serious amounts of water. Clothing and what to wear on the water is something that's going to be area dependent. The key is to dress for the water temperature and not necessarily the air temperature. I'm going to show you some examples of what's worked for me in Northern and Southern California. If the water is going to be cold, I'm going to wear a wetsuit underneath. A surf suit like this will work fine, and it's what I started with. But a Farmer John style or a sleeveless style wetsuit, especially one that's been designed for kayaking or paddling, is going to be more comfortable. And if you're shopping for something, it's what I'd recommend. If I need a little extra protection from the elements, I'll put on something like this pair of splash pants and this jacket. These are water resistant, so they're going to keep me a little drier and protect me from the wind. On my feet, I'll wear a pair of neoprene booties like this, and for my hands, I'll wear a pair of paddling gloves that help keep the sun off me and they'll help prevent blisters from paddling all day. Fishing gear is going to be specific to the type of fishing you're doing, so I won't get into specifics here, but in general, you're going to want a rod and somewhere to keep your catch. A game clip like this can be a nice option for securing your catch while you're out on the water. Another option is a kayak cooler bag like the one I have in the front of this kayak. You're also going to want a place to store your tackle. A lot of kayaks come with hatches where you can just drop in a tackle box. But if your kayak doesn't have a hatch or you need more storage space, you can always throw something like a milk crate in the back of your kayak and attach it to that. If you're just starting out, I recommend keeping it simple. Bring a single rod, the tackle you need, a net or a way to land the fish, and start there. You can always add more rods as you go, but things can get complicated quickly if you have too much stuff on the boat. Another thing that you're going to want to do is to get a leash and attach anything that you don't want to lose to your kayak. If you're fishing in the ocean, particularly if you're surf launching, it's critical that you understand surf dynamics, how to time the sets, and how to position your boat in relation to the waves, both going out and coming back in. Practice recovering from a flipped kayak. If you kayak fish long enough, it's only a matter of time till you flip your kayak and end up in the water. And you're going to want to be confident in your ability to flip that kayak back around and get it on top. I recommend practicing this in a controlled environment, maybe a lake somewhere, rather than going out into the ocean and trying it for the first time there. You're also going to want a set of wheels for your kayak to help you get from your vehicle to your launch spot. These things come in all different configurations, but a set of wheels like this, that's hard plastic, is going to work fine for most hard surfaces. But if you're dragging your kayak through a lot of sand, you're going to want something with a little more surface area, like these air-filled wheels. To transport your kayak on your vehicle, you'll need a few things: a set of crossbars, cam straps, and some bound stern lines. First, load your kayak so that it's upside down and centered between the bars. Then use cam straps to secure the kayak onto your crossbars. Tighten your straps until they're snug, but not over tight. Too much tension can deform your hull, which is why you don't want to use ratchet straps here. A few half-hitch knots will keep the tag ends from flapping around while you're driving. And before taking off, grab your kayak and give it a shake to make sure it's secure. For the bow and stern, you can use non-stretch nylon rope. They also make special ratcheting lines, like the one I'm using here, that make the job easier. You've probably seen roof rack accessories like J-hooks, saddles, and rollers for carrying kayaks, but in my experience, they really aren't needed for most fishing kayaks that sit flat on the crossbars. Sure, they can be used to help accommodate an extra kayak on a narrow roof rack, but they also add height, drag, and complexity. In general, I prefer simple methods with fewer things that can go wrong, and so I prefer just using longer crossbars. Oh, hello. So, if you're looking to get into kayak fishing, that's where I'd start. Remember that it's important to have the right gear, but it's just as important to know how to use it. So get out there and practice, stay safe, and I'll see you out in the water. If you have any questions about kayak fishing, please feel free to leave it in the comments, or if you're an experienced kayak angler and you want to share your thoughts, I'd love to hear them. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you like this kind of stuff, please like, follow along, and I'll see you later.